Pine Top. What are you doing sitting around here with your head hung down, looking so sad?
I just think about all these piano players going around here making big money playing on these here records.
Well, why don't you play on some of these records?
That's a good idea, boy. I believe I start rehearsing right now. How's that?
Oh boy, that ought to get it.
Hi, welcome to Driven by Me and Disease. So, tonight I will go over level design, the first stage of level design, which is the blockout. I'm not a level designer. I don't have any experience apart of colleagues, seeing colleagues exchanging with level designers. I've heard some of the keywords they would use, or how they manage things. But since I don't know much about it, I will construct my learning with you tonight. So I already started a bit gathering pieces here and there. After, sorry for that. So after this blockout session, looking for blockout ideas and as such, I might apply them, and then later on at the end of the live stream I will go back to for those who followed my progress, we'll go back to Git and show you how to follow up on a task in Git, because that's where I'm at in my current progression. I need to I know that I didn't show you much about how to participate in project management. I just showed you how to create the task, and I will go over that tonight after the blockout. So let's go. I have gathered a couple of video that I watched while training earlier. So first thing first, I will create myself what I do to gather good information, but not only good information, but classify my sources of information, because if I do put all of the game design position into one place, it becomes very chaotic. So if you are like me, like a solo developer, I will show you a little trick right now. So what I do, don't worry about my YouTube algorithm. You might see some strange thing. So what I do is that I have many different channels for everything, every kind of information I like to learn about. This is only like let's plays, streamers. This is my own. I put YouTubers that are like me, who are game developers showing their processes. This is for more like development, not only game. There's much more about coding and not really developer. I put everything that is in this one is also in this one, but not the contrary. So Remly Terra is a new one I created to all the channel about literature, how to write good stories, because it was one of my first live stream on this channel. This is everything about art, tutorial art, modeling, 3D modeling, concept art. This is the French version of my live stream, this current channel. This is everything about robotics and electronics, because I'm trying to learn. I might go back to school in robotic eventually. This is, I won't say about it. It's a bit personal. This is everything that is not so that tries to sound scientific, but is not scientific, or spiritual stuff, or not so much scientific. I don't want. The thing is that I don't like to hide away from things, even though I'm more I would be more like I will have a scientific way of searching things, but I don't like to close my eyes and not listen at opposite point of views. They are very insightful sometimes. Often it depends on who is. If the person is is sincere, which means that if they don't know, they say they don't know. It depends on that, or how they search their sources. And often if they don't say they don't know and they say they know, and I look at the source and I see something that is not the same, it's not so bad for me. I just put it in those kind of channels. This is the opposite. It's like every scientific YouTubers that have studied in science, and this is my first channel, the real channel. It's a mix of many things. That's why I started to separate. So it's a bit a mix of so much that I don't go there anymore. This is gym, workout stuff, dance. This is for music. It's a new one too. I did it at almost at the same time of the literature. AI is everything AI. All the channel talking about AI that I found useful. What was this one? I don't remember. This one is all the industry, the studio in game development, showing their game. This is our spooky channels, and this is all my favorite into one. So it's a mix of all of them into the best one, the one I prefer. So what I will do now is a level design channel, and to do that you need to go to settings, I think, if I remember. Oh, I forgot to share again. Okay, so to create a channel on YouTube, add or manage setting account, add manage. You didn't need to see anything. It was all those channel I have. This one was the first one, and then I saw a mix of many things, so I started to spread and separate them into sections. So this, I have this one. I said I'm on it, and I said I don't want to talk about it. It's personal, but it's some kind of it's just similar to the pseudo-scientific method, which is the one with the not so scientific stuff. So I prefer to be open-minded. Of course, I know what are the limits of open-mindedness and close-mindedness. I have my own. I think it should be personal for everyone, except if it's problematic to other people. So and problematic to oneself, like people thinking they can survive from sun exposure, things like that. only sun exposure. It can be, it is harmful to oneself. So this one will be RAM level, maybe something different than the other design. I will suggest you to do yourself, separate your channel if you are solo dev. But I always try to put a little RAM, a little RAM somewhere. Level designer RAM. Okay. So I have a couple that I watch while doing workout. Level designer LMNOP is it's not there yet. Yes. Okay, let's go through them. I don't want to hide my multi-chat. If you are there, give a sign. I never had an interaction yet with anyone. So this is one. This is World of Level Design. I will open them all.
There's DIY.
Give a bit of watch time to the ad while I'm doing this. Sometime people complained at my job that I left I played things without ad blocks when we were sharing screen. I have ad blocks. It's just I don't feel like oh, it's not there. Okay, I'm on my I like to support YouTubers by looking at ads. I don't look at them anyway, but it helps a bit. I've been someone a bit opposite to that when I was younger, not so much younger, but before getting in development, and I switched team. Now I'm not doing any shady stuff anymore, even if it you would feel like fighting the system by doing so. I think the system is way too intricate with yourself and everybody else to not be self-harming by destroying the system. So this is the one I got while watching. I think I have more. The other one are for the mood board. I might go back to the mood board for a fourth episode, because I forgot things. Not only things I forgot. Not that I forgot. I have someone did it. I would say a student who did it, and the guy missed some points, and it made me realize that I need to make it more clearer, or not just more clear, maybe doing an exercise, homework or something, or multiple homeworks, because you didn't get it. Not as it did get a bit of it, but he seems to skim over it, do it as fast as possible, as many beginners would do, and then I want to put the break in, because he wants to do too much at once. So, but I will see if I have time to do that. I will add them all in my new channel. So this is Apox Fox with a space. Let's make games. No, this is Sinclair Strange. I don't know if he's playthrough games. No, I won't subscribe to him if it's only playthrough. No, but I will keep his video for my documentation, and eventually when I will be better, I will maybe give a course. This one was good, really good. Steve Lee level and game design. This one was so I didn't get the other one that I get most of information when with the bullet points. This one was a bit the lack of bullet points of major points made it a bit difficult to pinpoint I know some points. I think that doing it in bullet points make the points more memorable. He said some points, but not in bullet points, and like a mix of thing. Of course, I don't do this, and I noticed that when I do that, my video are more, I get more views. It's more memorable, like it's easier for the memory. But I knew that this channel would have many good things, so because it was professional, it looked professional, so Blockout world of level design. So let's see. Now I will have more level design stuff to check here. So much work. I will check as I go. Eventually, I just want to make a quick look at, but I guess it's not yet giving me good level design YouTube channel, I think. Okay, let's start taking notes for my documentation, and eventually my documentation, my own learning, and eventually my courses, if I have the time. I find the time between everything I am doing, but that won't be soon. or it will be like very simple. So I will create a document for myself in my documentation in level design. Level design, I already have one. Oh, this one. It's an old one. The first one I checked like a few weeks or a couple of days. I will go back to the first and start taking notes. I will add in
Blocktober, the month of October. Blocktober is an event that begins October 1st and ends October 31st. And for the entire month, you can see level designers, game environment artists, and game designers sharing their blockouts for how they start creating level designs and game environments. Last year, in October 2017, Michael Barclay, game designer from Naughty Dog, started the hashtag on Twitter to honor blockouts, because level blockouts are art. And now, in the month of October, I wanted to do a video, a quick start guide to Blocktober. So here's everything you need to know to get started for Blocktober in the month of October. First, what is a blockout? Blockout is one of the most important beginning phases of your level design and environment art creation. There are some other terms used for blockout that you may have heard. This includes
I already watched it, but because I couldn't take notes because I was training, I was doing workout, and my hands were occupied, so I will go fast over it. I want to take note of this because I like to have the different names. So, blocking, white box, block mesh. I use in my job, but we use not level designer, but character design. We use blocking and base mesh for the mesh of the character. But I guess that block mesh would be very similar to the base mesh. Gray box, or it's just the same name for anything related to blocking, probably more likely.
Box, block mesh, gray box, but they all mean the same thing. And blockout is a process where you use primitive geometric shapes such as cubes, spheres, cylinders, planes, etc., and block in your level designs, game environments, and game art assets. During this process, your goal is entirely focused on blocking in the layout, the shape, establishing size, scale, proportion, and composition of your environment. And if you're creating a playable level, you also focus on playable space, on the flow, on the pacing, gameplay implementation, and scripting, so you can begin playtesting. Blockout's purpose is not to finish a level or game environment. It's not to make it pretty, it's not to texture, not to light, and not to detail. Nothing is final in your blockouts, and your blockouts will change.
I would say with not light, that's a bit. I've seen some level designer not using light, and I understand that it's more. It would be like eventually the technical artist. I did that. I was building the light at my job, but I guess that it could be important if it's in the gameplay element, like game mechanics. The lights is important, but I think that it's similar to architecture. The level designer by itself is not an architect, but it's good to know architecture. he's not an artist as the concept artist that would pick the architecture, but that's a level designer that would work on in a AAA, like a big studio, compared to when you work in a small studio, a startup. They will prefer you to be able to do many things. But that's not the case with your portfolio, of course, maybe. But I guess that you can when you get there, they will act. They will try to act like in the small studio. They will try to mimic a big studio by giving you like a programming test when you're a programmer, when you search someone for a job, the programmer. There are tests. Or in the interview, they will do the question that are traps. I don't know the name in English. It's some kind of trap questions, and they do this just because it's the trend and just because they've seen a blog that you should do this. It's so there are many things like that a small startup will try to mimic a big studio, but at the end of the day they want like a generalist artist, generalist level designer, even though they would like your CV to say just level designer. They don't have the cash to hire many people with different precise skills. At the opposite, the AAA will look for a precise skill, but both of them will prefer someone that is stable and that aim at being to stay at the same job, even though the indie studio will ask you the trap question, the bait question, which is a question that they all ask. Most of them all must ask is, where do you see yourself in 10 years? This question is to see if you will answer. I see myself as a lead in my expertise. That's the right question to this trap question, because even though it's a lie, because they want someone that they are sure they can have later on, even though they might not have the cash, even though they don't know what the future themselves. They want someone who's like, I'm an employee and I will stay an employee all my life and can be secure with me. So just to say about that is that it's different. If you want to aim at the job will be different. They will act, a small studio will act as big studio, but behind the scene they want someone who can do many things, even though they don't show it at first. So to not get lost into, I will go back to the main reason I'm talking about that, is that the level design, it's a very good thing that you know architecture, but you shouldn't pass time trying to block out the architecture of a specific thing, just like not so much in details at least, but the main the main foundation of the architecture you are aiming at. Usually it will be the concept artist that will pick the architecture, but in the team, like in the preparation, you will know it will be said, so you will search, and then you don't need to worry about studying architecture so much. But it's a good thing because it solved issues that we have, that level design and concept artists and environment artists have to solve when they learn about their craft. So let's continue.
The blackout phase often starts very rough and messy. You have to be flexible to be able to change things quickly, while working on the entire map, on the entire layout, determining the size, testing scale and proportion, and establishing the playable space. Remember, during blackouts, use simple geometric shapes and placeholder geometry. You want quick iterations and updates. As you work, iterate, update, and refine, your blackouts will eventually become the frame or the skeleton of the level, the game environment, or the game asset that you will use to build upon and ultimately finish. So this beginning stage, this blackout, is extremely important because everything will be built onto it. It is your...
What is good that he says in that I can keep is what is blackout? What is a blackout? And what is it? He says exactly the right thing, but I want to add maybe not this one. Blockout. I don't know if they call it. I think it comes from this. I don't know if they called it blackout, but the idea is that marble start with a block, sculpting start with a block. When real life blocking, it's not sculpting, it's engraving. So you start with the big block, and the artist comes and carves the block. I think that the process of having created the word blockout comes from this. As we see, nothing says blockout, they don't use this word. Yeah, they don't use this word. Blocking your statue, maybe then. Yeah, they write on this. They do the drawing on the side and then they carve it out. But that's not really the same thing. But I think that's it. That's where it comes from. I'm pretty sure, because it's really similar. The artist will come in and swap. Or I will show you a way to do it if you keep with me. Is that at first you might start with a blocking and with a software that you like in Unity there is a Pro Builder, in Unreal there is one integrated, and then later on you start with the base mesh of the artist, and then the artist only need to override this base mesh when he has a new version and push it, and you see it without losing time to placing it over. So I will show you how to do this if you keep with me on later episodes. So he says it's an iterative process, of course. He says so many good things that I don't know where to start. Let's go and see.
But they all mean the same thing, planes, etc., and block in your level designs, game environments, and game art assets. During this process, your goal is entirely focused on blocking in the layout, the shape, establishing size, scale.
Blocking the layout, this is good. Layout, the shape, it's the same thing.
Scale, proportion, and composition of your environment.
Proportion, this is important. This is very important.
And if you're creating unblocking in the layout, the shape, establishing size, scale, proportion, and composition of
the size and proportion is it can lead to many issues if it's not respected well by the team.
Your environment. And if you're creating a playable level, you also focus on playable space, on the flow, on the pacing, gameplay.
Yes, playable space, playable. Focusing on playable
implement position of your environment. And if you're creating a playable level, you also focus on playable space, on
space. This is important because we, in most cases, we use nav mesh algorithm. It's a mesh that is constructed over the visual mesh, and it delimits the section where the AI can go. And it's also important for the player. Of course, the level designer will do it, especially for the player. So it has a flow. It is placed in some kind of way. I have other video in there that will go in details. That goes in details about how to place and what to place.
On the flow, on the pacing, gameplay implementation.
Space, flow, and spacing. Flow and spacing.
And scripting, so you can begin playable level. You also focus on playable space, on the flow, on the pacing, gameplay implementation, and scripting, so you can begin playtesting. Blackout's purpose is not to finish.
Yes. Some level designer learn scripting. At my school there was in 3D campus ADM. There was some level designer who did scripting. It was, I don't know if they offered scripting courses. I don't remember. I can look it up. It's a good school. It's very cheap, but you need to live in go live here in Canada. You need to move here. It's it's very, we have a high rate of taxes, but it's fine. People likes to complain. The healthcare is free. It's low, of course. You wait like a day when you go to the hospital. It's shorter in clinics. It's like an evening, like 3 hours max, something like that. Depends on the day. It depends on the season. But I'm a patient guy, so it doesn't affect me so much. But it's an high taxes. It's good for the people. It seems that when a nation hates each other, they don't want to pay taxes for other people. But everything has its place. I think every country have good way to manage things. I think people like to shout at each other about things like that are not so important.
Finish a level or game environment. It's not to make it pretty, it's not to texture, not to light, and not to detail. Nothing is final in your blackouts, and your blackouts will change. The blackout phase often starts very rough and messy. You have to be flexible to be able to change things quickly, while working on the entire map, on the entire layout, determining the size, testing scale and proportion, and establishing the playable space. Remember, during blackouts, use simple geometric shapes and placeholder geometry. You want quick iterations and updates. As you work, iterate, update, and refine, your blackouts will change. The blackout phase finish a level or game environment. It's not to make it pretty, it's not to texture, not to light, and not to detail.
This is important, some kind of, even though I've said light might be important. No texture. I'm going at small details like that because I noticed that beginners, if you don't tell them, they don't know, and it's hard to know what other people don't know. But if you go like points per points, bullet points per bullet points, now you can say, okay, this is important to say to the, because they want to go fast and they miss many things.
Nothing is final or game environment. It's not to make it pretty, it's not to texture, not to light, and not
no light. I will put in brackets, if not game mechanic wise. But it can help sometimes because sometimes the light can affect the symmetry, or not the symmetry, but it can affect something visual. Of course, the level designer is supposed to focus on like the flow of the shape. That's why they say no lights. But I think it could be. I wouldn't bother seeing like a level designer having put lights at specific place, but yeah, I'm not sure. I know that it depends a lot, of course.
not to detail. Nothing is final in your blackouts, and your blackouts will change.
Blockout, he says later, is an iterative process, so it would change over time.
The blackout phase often starts very rough and messy. You have to be flexible to be able to change things quickly, while working on the entire map, on the entire layout, determining the size, testing scale and proportion, and establishing the playable space. Remember, during blackouts, use simple geometric shapes and placeholder geometry. You want quick iterations and updates. As you work, iterate, update, and refine, your blackouts will eventually become the frame or the skeleton of the level, the game environment, or the game asset that you will use to build upon and ultimately finish. So this beginning stage, this blackout, is extremely important because everything will be built onto it. It is your foundation.
Teams.
I will search while there's an ad. So it's French. You would need to speak French to follow this course. This is where I learned 3D modeling. It was very, very nice. I think it's the manager of this school. It's a a woman. She's very good. She found the right person. When I was there, it was the teachers was a lot of them was very good because they picked people that were working in Warner Bros. Above the school because it's in very you can the tower with the metro subway and there is a Warner Bros. On the top of the building, not on the top but above the school, on the above floors or next tower, something like that. It's all linked by the metro, the subway. How can I open the maps? Can I slide in, little guy? So this is the tower and Warner Bros. Is in one of them. And we go close. I think it's those two instead of the... I'm not sure. I don't remember. I didn't remember there was 3 towers. And it's a big studio with like 1,000 of people. It's very huge. Warner Montreal, my teacher and game character teacher was a lead character at that time, and he gave very good tips and tricks. We have picture. Size it's huge like that. There is like a shopping mall at the bottom. It's very tall. You can see all the floors and the hole when you take the lift to go up. And when you enter, you have this. Sometimes there's a statue next, yeah, like that. It's very huge. It seems small, but behind this there is like a very huge with many computer. So it was Ludovic, my teacher. He's now working at Panache, I think. It's a studio, not small studio. It's like yeah, that was my teacher, Panache. It's a small, it's not an indie, but like some kind of in between, I guess. Let's see the games. Ancestor was a very good game. Very good game. I have it. I would play again if I had time. It's very like it's a different experience. It's unique. Some kind of unique kind of a game. So it's a small studio if they only have one game. But he was very good at giving the right tricks, tips and tricks for character modeling, character artist. But I guess he's not the teacher there anymore. And I think that the manager is still the same. Is still there. She was very good at picking the right people. this. It doesn't work there. Oh. So let's continue. I like to go in tangent. Okay, he continued the ads. So where are we?
Blockout is extremely important because everything will be built onto it. It is your foundation. Remember, keep your blockout simple. Use primitive geometric shapes. And inside most of the game engines, this will be your BSP geometry. Focus on size, scale, proportion.
Sorry. I will add, keep it simple. And that would be simple geometric shapes and brackets.
Dimensions, layout, and composition. And if it's a playable level, you must also focus on gameplay, scripting, flow, pacing, so you can playtest as soon as possible. Work the entire environment.
I will just move this one because I haven't watched it. I already subscribed, so it's one of the one I subscribed to. Sorry to breaking your, but I need to learn at my way. I might do like video online that are more courses, short, precise. But I will use my live stream to learn and build a better live stream, like unique live stream or pre-record live stream. Not live stream, but pre-record, one-shot record. So because I don't have many times.
On the entire level. Don't focus on any one area. You can focus more on each section or on each area later if needed, after you have the entire layout blocked in. Refine, update, and iterate often. Use developer textures. And use simple lighting. So, how do you start Blocktober? Often, or on each area later if needed, after you have the entire layout. Don't focus on any one area. Pacing, so you can playtest as soon as possible. Work the entire environment.
This is very important, even in drawing, in programming, in drawing. As I said, people often start to make DI when they are beginners, and then they do the face and the neck, and then the character is all like in a weird position because they don't do the right. It's not the right way. It's just that they start at some point and it follows the point where they started. How to draw, you would instead do like the cage rib, like the sketch with spheres, like some kind of blocking out, and then you do the details everywhere on your, so the position will be made before adding the details, so the details don't dictate the position. It's the same thing in programming. When you don't do you don't do task, you don't separate things in task, and then you go along as you feel. You do like you decide, okay, I will do this mechanics today, and then you do the mechanics, you get blocked, then you say, okay, I will do another things instead, and then you do the other thing and you do it correctly, but you forget about the mechanics. So I want to do this, and then you only have details, and the details dictate your project, and you end up having not having something done completely well because it does not work on itself. It works on some part that you focused on, and that's why we create MVPs in product management too. People will start with an idea, like I said it in my MVP video. You start with an idea that I want to do a new Ferrari car, and then they only have like the knowledge and the money for a single screw. That's like $300 screw, but their first iteration is the screw. They could have done something. Start with a first iteration that is working in the sense that Ferrari is a car that goes from point A to point B. They could have created something that goes from point A to point B, costing the screw costing $300, like a skateboard. So, but it's as I say in my video, the idea is not building something you don't like. If you don't like skateboard, the idea is that the first iteration needs to do what the last iteration has to do. So I would guess that applies to level design and anything else, any kind of work. So I said it very well. Iteration 1 needs to do what last iteration has to do. I will add this motto into my MVP. I will give an example so it's easier to understand. After it goes, a Ferrari goes from point A to point B. So I will see if I have a file for mood MVP. Where did I put there? It was in the GDD. To add GDD to add. Okay, no. Notes 2, notes 3. I still have many things to do. It was in the draft, so we did the draft. New file. Next. The draft 2. Add MVP. Take a break, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes.
environment on the entire level. Don't focus on any one area. You can focus more on each section or on each area later if needed, after you have the entire layout blocked in. Refine, update, and iterate often. Use developer textures. And use simple lighting. So, how do
What did he say?
update and iterate often? Use developer textures. And use simple lighting.
Okay, simple lighting. No light. I will add simple light. Simple lights.
So, how do you start Blocktober? Anyone can start, participate, and share their blackouts with Blocktober. Before you do though, decide what you're going to work on. Here are 3 options. You can do a standalone game environment. This is a single scene, one location, and it's not playable, but could be explorable. So you don't need to focus on gameplay. This can be a very small scene, such as a room, or it can be larger, such as multiple rooms, or something outside. You could work on a playable level. This will require for you to block in and playtest. Gameplay, flow, pacing. You will probably need to script a few things. This could be single player or multiplayer. Or you can work on a game environment asset. This can include modular assets, a single hero asset, or props. Or you could combine 2 or do all 3. What should you work on? Where do you get blockout ideas? You can use image reference, concept art, from architecture, your someday ideas. You can work on gameplay and scripting scenario. You can do a demo level for your game, a location in one of your favorite games, or a level within your favorite game. Or you can do a movie scene. So really there's a lot of places you can pull ideas from. How to work in Blocktober. So many artists are very busy and don't have the luxury of taking an entire month or even a week to work on blackouts, specifically for Blocktober. So they share their previous work. You too can share your completed work of either final level comparison, showing the blackout, and the completed environment, or share unfinished blackouts. So here are Blocktober work ideas. As I mentioned, you can just post blackouts of completed work before and after you have available for it. And remember, you don't have to complete your blackouts or get them to a finished state. Blackouts are an iterative, creative, and explorative process. And after October is done, then you can take that level, or the standalone game environment, or the game asset, and then work it to completion. And if you worked on multiple blackouts, choose one to focus on and then get it done. But you would do this after Blocktober is finished. And I recommend that you take a look at the Abandoned House project tutorial series I did on how this process of idea, blackout, to completion was used. So that will give you a better understanding of what you would need to do to turn your blackouts into completed projects. But again, for Blocktober, all you're trying to do is complete the blackout. So which software, which tools should you use? This is really completely up to you. You can use any game engine, any level editor, and any 3D software. New or old, it doesn't matter. What you should do is match what you're trying to block out to the tools that give you what you need. So for example, if you want to work on a playable level, then pick a game that has a level editor with it. This will give you the gameplay mechanics needed to block out your level, your map. And as a quick recommendation, you can use any source-based games. All come with a level editor. So if you were going to do something single player, then pick Half-Life 2 or Portal. If you're working on multiplayer, then you can use Counter-Strike, any other game that comes with a level editor. If you're working on a 3D game asset, or you can use 3D software. You can use Maya LT or Maya, 3ds Max, Blender, Modo, etc. Or other. After you begin and you have something, and if you're working on a standalone game environment without any gameplay, then you can use Unreal Engine 4, CryEngine, Unity, or other. After you begin and you have something to show, post it on Twitter with Blocktober hashtag.
Next one.
Fantastic. Hey everyone, this episode is going to be a fantastic one for those of you who are looking to improve your blockouts and how to best sell that of emotions through geometry. Hey everyone, I hope you're well, playing and making the games that you all love. You're joining me, your host, senior level designer Max Pears, where I get to talk to all of you incredible game gurus. All of you should know by now, but if you're new, let me just tell you, the podcast is here to help all of us who love and are passionate about that beauty that we call level design. We're talking about elements such as different ways to block out, interview incredible industry guests, and much, much more. This one, however, as I mentioned at the very start of the show, is going to be about your blockouts and how we can improve on those. Now, most of us know a lot about blockout scenes, some of the videos out there on the internet, incredible resources out there. So I really want to help add a little bit more kind of context and extra kind of wisdom, shall we say, to that of your blockouts and how we can overall improve those. Now, just before we get into it, I just want to say that I hope you are all well and I hope your loved ones are well too, because this podcast is nothing without all of you. So I always think it's important to ask how you're doing, and I hope you're having a great morning, evening, or night whenever you are listening to this show. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor.
The legends become closer with Respeecher. Open the door to the world of iconic voices.
Now here, there is a lot of questions that are often asked about blockouts, white boxing, many different terms. I'm referred to it as blockouts just for the sake of this episode. As I mentioned earlier, there's different ways that you can refer to it, but blocking out by using that of such tools as Blender, Maya, even that of Pro Builder on Unity, or you using your level kit pieces as well. It's this kind of element where there is no art, there is no lighting. It's this, the very start of the actual level itself that we can all.
It's very good to start with a kit bash like this, because you can swap it with the artist can swap his mesh to any one of them. It's very good. Let's see if you can find a free kit bash. Neon City. What is the license? Can I have a small studio? Yes. Can I have it in Blender? Yes. Yes. What? Okay, no, no. No. Individual. 0. Okay. Okay. That's fine for practicing. That's fine. I'm subscribed to this email mailing. This is very good. There's a lot of stuff. They sell kit bashes. Reddit is always a good way to a good keyword in Google. There was a mega pack that I think is still free. Not long ago. I will check if it's still there. So miscellaneous Scribble pack. Very important notice, I moved my latest work Scribble Mix to Gumroad's website. Later I upload my other works to Gumroad. There is a good 3-1. I will add them to my documentation. 3 kit bash. I don't know if it's downloadable. Ooh. This one. We'll add it side by side. And then the Gumroad. I will guess that it's $400 too. Again, so they are free, individual. I didn't look at the license for this one. I guess that it would be any license. Since there is no mention of anything else. If there is no mention, and you're sure it comes from him, you are good to go. I won't put them because it's individual. I don't want to give free stuff that are not so much free. It's for practice alone, things that you would put in a portfolio, not sell. I would say I would add a section like portfolio free, non license, non-commercial use, no commercial use. Cricket bash then. Cool. I will add them for those who wants to have to build a portfolio. Portfolio wise, non-commercial use. Portfolio wise. Okay, so let's see if they put it. Sometimes their cells are free. They put it free. Like $1 is nice. It's like the warning signs you want to do a CT. This one offers a tutorial. I'm on the free one. Yes. I don't know the license. I was afraid that it removed them all, but no. Wow, this one is very good. I would just copy the search result, but I don't know the license. I will check. It's all different, of course, all different licenses. Which one would be interesting to my game? My current game. Would be like rocks and tiles and carved rock carved. Something like tiles? No. Sci-fi, not sci-fi. Maybe the medieval one above. Let's see the medieval one. Castle and this one. A Christmas Carol. Is there more to it? Oh, it could be useful. But personal, oh okay. Okay. Free. Personal. Oh, Andy. Cool. Very cool. But okay, he's like giving it free now or something. What? Practice only. I'm not, it's very confusing. Okay, he says how many cells or views. It's a bit yeah. Okay, also they might all be like this. So I would move it to portfolio wise. This one would be our helper. I don't want commercial use. I want commercial use. Free commercial use. Yeah. No mention. Did bash Reddit. No, it becomes too niche. Too free. For my game it would be very good because I put like a shader that transform the visual, so I can drop anything in there that's low poly. Let's see them. They have they sell this like the Kid Bash website. So it's not from the website, so you need to check the license. It says they don't own the license. So yeah, it's not cheap, so just so you know, I knew that was not cheap because it's a long process, very long process, and they might sell it to big company or something. Yeah, they need to make money to exist. We could do the Kid Bash for everyone. If I would like friend, student, and the homework would have a license, so that I can the student can agree or not to give his work. Okay, so don't think I will find more. I need to keep going. That would be for another time.
See and present and actually play through as well. These are the elements that we're going to be talking about when I'm going on about how to improve, where we can improve, and what can be improved as well. So let's talk about what is the purpose of a blockout first, so as to all understand and get us on the same page. Blockout, as I mentioned, is where we have now gathered all the necessary information. We understand what the brief of the mission is. We understand what it is that we need to deliver, where this location is taking place. We have all of this vital and crucial info stored away for us to go off and use, taken from the references, and understand again how it is that we are going to be able to use those and actually create it. Now, as I mentioned, there's different ways that we blocked out. I talked about earlier with the Maya and your LD kit pieces. So we now are going to start to block it out, right? And this one is going to be about, again, why, how, where we're kind of blocking all of this together. Now, when I'm talking about this to all of you incredible people, I'm talking about the baseline, right? You're going to be making that of a room, a building, all of this with your blockout pieces, making sure it delivers the space for gameplay, cinematics, delivering the story, and overall kind of flow, if you will, for that of the mission, okay? So it's kind of the foundation upon which levels will actually be built upon further, okay? Now, from here, we're going to talk about going a bit further. So I'm presuming all of you who are listening to this have done a white boxing or blocked out a level before, okay? Of actually how to do it. So I'm not going to go over in detail, but it's more about how we can improve them, right? The first way that we can actually go off and improve them is by, as I mentioned earlier, the references. We're making sure that this space, whether this be some sort of cave in the wilderness or that of a factory in a city, actually looks like this. A lot of the time we can make these more boxy kind of layouts, right? And there isn't necessarily something wrong with it being boxy because due to some buildings, that's how it looks. But we need to make sure it delivers and has a strong architectural style and presence. If this is in kind of like a rundown area, then this factory is going to be rather simple. We understand that maybe it doesn't need any flair. But if it's kind of in a more rich, high-end kind of spot, then there's going to be more flourishes around that kind of architecture. So we need to make sure that it has that, whether that being sort of curved walls, angled walls, certain sort of structural supports. These elements should be considered, right? Because a lot of times, especially in open world games, there's going to be a lot of buildings that players won't ever be able to actually visit or go through, okay? So you need to make sure that it's clear, again, what the building actually is, and that it is going to be one that catches the player's eye to make players want to actually go in and visit this area, okay? So when you're doing this, sell this. Imagine we're creating that of, say, like a greenhouse, right? Now, at first, you may want to just use your building blocks, right? It's important to use those, so you want to use it. But if we just use those building blocks, it could end up looking or feeling like a bunker because it doesn't have any way for light to pass through and go over to feed and grow the plants that you find in, say, some sort of greenhouse. So that way, we need to make sure that, although it is to metrics, so you may want to start with just the first building blocks of making it may look bunkerish, but you're starting out to get the metrics right. But then you want to go off and revisit and then change it to maybe a glass facade. Simple thing like that will help sell, again, the vision. It's on us because even though it's not...
So it's important, the metrics. This I've heard many times that it leads, when the metrics are not respected, it leads to issues later on. Respect the GDD, Game Design Document metrics. I would say TDD. I prefer to put metrics and everything code-wise in the TDD, anything technical in the TDD, and everything else that is for the eventual, that would be for eventual investors would be in the GDD. But that's my take on it. Respect the DDD, TDD metrics. Leads to mistakes along the way later on with the programmer and or any other programmer and or like game character design, character modeler, anything, because sometimes the character has an height, but it will be the programmer, so then that will be like programming the character moving in, and then they see the character is too too tall to enter a tunnel or something. With later on, just later on. with character size, with fitting other part that has the right matrix. If ignored,
It's not going to go and be a pretty level. We really want to sell those elements. So think about that. First rule for this is the architectural style and presence, making sure this building fits within your universe.
architectural style, as I mentioned, it's good to know architecture. I'm a bit a mix of French and English in architecture. Learn the architect. I will add it. So I'm not just stupid thinking about this. He mentioned it too.
As well as it's attractable to the eye for that of the player.
Hi.
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran. We made it our mission to unite those who...
Now the second rule is going to be that of making it clear what the rooms are. Now this will come...
Okay, he has a clear bullet points. But it seems to second role, but the bullet points are not like well placed.
Come down to your pipeline with your overall team, okay? So keep this in mind, because I don't want you to go off the beaten path and irritate anyone, because it's on your leads and seniors and directors to make sure that you understand your pipeline, your level flow, right? But where I'm going with this is, a lot of time we can just place boxes, right, and then give it to art and try to figure that for them to go figure out for us. That isn't how I want anyone listening to this podcast to act, and also
Yeah, sometime often the walls won't be like blocks. Well, it would be like paper model kit bash, like a kit bash wall. Would be like really flat plane, not flat but a plane, not without with only one side. The other side has no polygons. It's transparent. So you need to know that it would be very often like just one-sided wall. The other side is invisible. Often I see you will see, like, if the level design is badly done, you will see a chunk of grass, and when you walk up a hill you see underneath it, and you see as it's you see the other side of the polygon, so you see through it. And I've seen this a lot in Starfield lately. A lot of, not just in Starfield, in many games. So you need to know that this is most likely invisible on the other side. If you go look at it underneath, you would see nothing. You see through it, and walls are like that. So really often they are like that. it can happen that the Kid Bash would provide like a thick wall with the other side. It can happen. Depends. It can be both, a mix of both. So I say that because as we see in his, he talks about that, and as we see in this video, the walls are thick, and this might be like a section of the Kid Bash that comes with a door entry. It could happen that the artist did it in one block. It could happen that there is one version with only one-sided and a version with both sides. And that way you can have a room that is completely different than the hallway, and then the rest of the room is just one-sided. So that the thing is that your first blocking might comes from you with ProBuilder, and then at some point artists will place a base mesh, or it will give you the base mesh and you will have to place them, and then later on the artist only has to override, as I said earlier, and it will be updated right away. And for everyone, if when you will push your change, he pushes changes, you receive it, you place it first, and then later on you don't need to move it anymore, except if someone asks you, lead asks you to change the level a bit. But at this point, when you have the artist mesh, he can override it and it update it, iterate his version. So let's continue.
Myself, you'll see if you've seen my Spider-Man level, my art gallery level, as well as the stealth level, I try and make it clear what each space is, okay? I try and make it absolutely understandable and readable that this space is a bedroom, bathroom, storage unit, all of these, because I do these kind of...
This, I think he's right. It's a good point. And one way I would say to do this is to, when you do your sketch, your first sketch, write the names, give names to each rooms. That way, even in Unity, put them in folder in game objects with the name of what you have named them. That way you know what to put in them, or write it. Give her name to each room and keep the meaning of their names consistent with added props.
kind of small LD props. You know, they match the same color as the building blocks that we have, but maybe they're a little bit more detailed than your average one. Now again, keep in mind that your bosses may not want you to do that just due to how your pipeline is, but if you have some freedom, go into those elements, sell that space. If it's an art gallery, let's again sell all of that, making it have the paintings, just basic things on the wall, just simple flattened cubes to sell, all right? So really, again, similar to what we talked about the exterior and the architectural presence, you want to sell roughly what the space is, but also make it clear as well for the artist that this is just, you know, your layout's there for a purpose of gameplay, but the artist, you know, if they want to modernize or make it look more kind of...
how he shoots there. The height there should be set in the TDD, as I say. Some people would put it in their GDD, but the shoot that could happen is that the guy, when shooting, he hits the bottom of the wall, and the player would usually like instinctively think that he can shoot above it.
Unless we talk about the exterior and the architectural presence, you want to sell roughly what the space is.
So also, for that, either there needs to be like a inverse kinematic animation that put the gun over the wall, or something thought about it, or as or the height of the hand which is holding the gun needs to be taught instead in the TDD, and the metrics needs to be there and say that when he aims it's at this height, and the wall, the semi walls needs to be under his aiming sight.
Also make it clear as well for the artist that this is just, your layout's there for a purpose of game.
Okay, it's well done.
But the artist, if they want to modernize or make it look more kind of run down, they have the freedom to do that. So they sell it. But also make it clear as well, have some freedom, go into those elements, sell that space. If it's in cubes to sell it, right? So really, again, similar to what we talked about the exterior and the architectural presence, you want to sell roughly what the space is. But also make it clear as well for the artist that this is just, your layout's there for a purpose of gameplay. Yeah. But the artist, if they want to modernize or make...
I was thinking that this was not aiming, was just holding the gun.
You look more kind of run down, they have the freedom to do that. So again, sell and make it clear what each space actually is for that of the player. Now here comes the more kind of details, the more nuanced elements to focus on to help raise your actual blockouts itself, okay? And the first one, this is play around with height, okay? One of the things that a friend of mine said to me...
This is not the first time I heard this. The height is important. The height and the depth. Play with height and depth. With height, of course my game would be up down, but I think that I can do like height and depth too. And depth. Dynamism.
I think I've already referenced it, but if I haven't, I think it's a good point to reference with you all here, is that a lot of time with more inexperienced level designers, they keep their levels very flat. So if you're able to play around with the height a bit, separate the level through different heights, whether that means us as players going through multiple floors, or that of just having a raised area by a meter, this can really help separate your space, make it very clear to all of those around who are playing the purpose of each space, right? And this is important, because it's a thing many of us can actually look over. But it's not just about how wide, how long a level can be. We get to play with height as well. So never neglect that, as this can be an important element for it. You can always just randomly add in height, but it shouldn't just be about randomly adding it in. Make sure it's got a purpose. As I said, not all spaces will actually need it, but if you're able to convey it in a successful and powerful way of it actually having a purpose, trust me, that's going to make your levels stand out quite a lot. The next is making sure that the geometry matches that of the emotional theming. Last month we talked about theming, right? So this is kind of building on what we said. If you haven't, go check out last month's episode. I'll have a link to it down below so you can go and see what I talk about when I mention that. In theming, we want to know the kind of emotional payoff, the emotional journey that the player is going through when they're playing our level, right? It's really important to gather that information. So let's think about how we can actually build that. Whether if we want the player to feel trapped, okay, well then our corridors should be extra tight. Maybe the roof should be lower. Maybe we should actually make the players crawl through the spaces, okay? By changing these elements, you can instantly start to create an emotional reaction out of players. If we want them to feel in danger, then we should have more kind of sharp, rugged, cutting areas in that of the, say, the walls or a cliff face, making it feel more dangerous. If we want the player to feel safe, then maybe instead of 90-degree angles, we can have more of those soft curved walls, again, making the player feel that they are gently being guided instead of just a harsh turn. These small elements, again, can really just push it. Go look up the psychology, well, just psychology in general, I think it's a great subject, but if you can look at things as color theory, shape theory, all of these are subconsciously communicating with the actual player themselves. So take a look into that and see what we can do with it. Take a look at different architecture styles as well. When you've got the brutalistic style of, say, the old communist Soviet Union, you can see how they just feel empty and lifeless. And yet when you've got the more modern buildings that you may see over, when I think about the Shard or the Gherkin, I think it's called, over in London, it starts to have a bit of character and it has a different kind of emotional reaction. If you want to think about making a place feel grander, a certain space in your level, then you can use techniques such as pinching, which refers to that of, before we get to that grand space, we make a really tiny space, so that way, instead of we go from one big space to another big space, everything feels the same. If you have one big space, a small tiny space, and then a big space, it makes that reveal feel even bigger than before. These elements, again, small little things, can go and improve your levels.
I will take note. More room to smaller room to then larger room will make the larger room even bigger.
Tenfold by much more thought process put into the actual motion through it too. Now this is where I'm going to stop. I know it's a short episode. I'm still getting back into the flow of the elements now that I'm back to business with the beautiful, amazing people like yourselves. But again, I'm just kind of easing back into it. There'll probably be some more in this. I hope that you did like it. If you do think you have other elements you think that can really help improve the blockouts, then share them. Put them down in the comments below. Tweet them at me. Email me in. My Twitter is...
Next one. This one was very, very good.
Over 2 years now, and I've yet to make a video on level layout and how to improve your layouts. So here's a checklist of 8 of the most common problems that I see in level layouts and blockouts that need more work. Number 1 is that spaces can be way too big, and this
So I will make this section space, I guess. No, it's all space. Don't make it too big, and the reason it gives is very good, so that the player do not run all the time. Or it's really good. I don't know, because for myself, I always run. I don't like it when I have to go slowly in a game, and even if I don't need it, I don't need to run. So you would do that. You would do. Did you have a dream that you do anything? It's a meme. Don't make it too large, too big. Don't make the room too big. The room too big. The thing with running all the time, I run all the time when I play, and that's not just that, is if walking it's hard to tell, because it depends on the gamer, how the gamer likes this game. But it's not a bad thing to say.
This can be a problem for all kinds of reasons, like forcing the player to sprint all the time because it would be boring not to sprint, which is a terrible reason to sprint. Really big spaces can make NPCs and gameplay objects and other players look really tiny on screen, which never looks that good. It also just creates way more work.
What did he say?
Of reasons, like forcing the player to sprint all the time because it would be boring not to sprint, which is a terrible reason to sprint. Really big spaces can make NPCs and gameplay objects and other players look really tiny on screen, which never looks that good.
Oh, yeah.
It also just creates way more work for you and any poor level artist who has to make
making the player, the assets and player look too small and gives too much work to fill in for nothing. No, not for, just to fill it in.
Make your level look nice. And the final thing is that if your spaces are really big, then it can just be really hard to focus the player's attention on the things you want them to notice. So if you're not really sure how big a space,
Hard to focus the player attention on a specific thing
space should be, I suggest leaning towards smaller spaces.
Number 2 is that spaces can often be too symmetrical. This can create problems with player orientation, and sometimes it's harder to tell which way you came in, which way is forwards. Another big thing is that with level design in
don't make it too symmetrical in the goal of making it memorable. I would say that if it's symmetrical and more memorable, this point is pointless. Because the first reason, at least, he gives about being more memorable if it's not symmetrical, but it can also make it more chaotic and more harder to memorize.
In general, we're designing interactivity and choices. And the thing about symmetry and choices is that symmetrical choices are just inherently less interesting, right? Generally, we're trying to make choices feel distinct. And
the reason I say it becomes too chaotic, it's like I play lately. I played Starfield, and there are sometimes levels that are not symmetrical, and I get lost. And it's not like he's saying in the sense of binary symmetry, but there are organic symmetry that are just many different things. Instead of one thing and another thing that is different, it's like many different things. There are no possible symmetry in it. So he's right about this, like putting something different, another path that is different. But at some point, don't use it too much at the point that the player gets lost.
And meaningful, which means that they have to be different from each other. And so symmetrical layouts, whether it's enemies being equal on both sides or the shape of the room being the same, whether you look left or right, all of this stuff just takes away from the meaningful choices that the player is making. One little tip here is that if you have to work with an environment or a space that is symmetrical, then try and find a way to populate it or position the player in that space in an asymmetrical way and break the symmetry in the
Okay, goal, items, he places things differently. That's fine. Like that's the where he's right is like I would say there are things that's symmetrical, that's fine. Then a stair on the right and a stair on the right instead of no stair there. This would be this is good in this sense, but you see that even that is okay. I wouldn't be lost. The enemies, let's say I arrive there, the enemies are placed that way. I prefer the enemies in asymmetrical. It feels more realistic. People don't usually like pick as if they were waiting for you and they want to impress you with their organization skills. I don't think if you are it depends of course on the situation, but let's say you a game where they are really enemies, you don't want might not show you that we can be symmetric, so we can this feels more realistic. this is not really necessary. I would say this is fine. The goal there is fine. Maybe the items can. It's okay that it's one room or something like that. This room or this one. It depends.
The way that the player experiences it. Number 3 is that layouts can often be too flat, which means that you're missing out on all the variation and the drama and the gameplay.
I think he copied the other
interest of, you know, verticality and height differences. Whether it's the player looking down on things from above or being below and looking up at things, you know, climbing out of something, descending into something. All of these things have a different feel and therefore can bring new layers of nuance and contrast and drama to the experience of your level. Number 4 is kind of related to Number 4 is kind of the... Why is talking so hard? Number 4 is kind of related to the first...
This happens to me a lot. And it's hard for me to... because I don't talk a lot. I'm a silent guy. Not shy guy, but a silent guy. And at some point in my life, I was passing so many times without talking that my brain, the part that is used to talk, was even worse. Like if you don't talk, you will lose the ability to talk. Like the guy in the movie. It's a Real Story. You lose the ability to talk because he's too long in the prison. It's like a train movie. The name is... there's a name Train in the movie. Real Story movie. Train. Midnight Train, I think. Midnight Train. It's not about train. It's just the guy was in a train to somewhere else. I don't remember. There was a train. Real Story prison. He had drugs on him in a country that are very Midnight Express. The guy ended up forgetting. I think it's this movie. Maybe I'm wrong. He ended up unable to talk because he was too long alone in the prison, in a section of the prison. It's a very good movie. John Hurt is in this movie. He probably dies in it. Yeah, he dies in every movie, almost. Yeah.
First point about levels often being too big, which is that levels can also often be too open. This can introduce problems like performance issues if the player can see too much of the world and the...
Okay, too open. Don't make the level too open. To avoid revealing, but this depend a lot because there is a key shot in video game that are important. You will show them, I think. No, so there is a key shot and awesome shot. I don't remember the name. Key shot. Video game. It's moment when you arrive and you see all the scene from afar. Might not be the name might not be a key shot. It's another name. I don't like to forget things. What is the camera perspective in a game when it shows the entirety of a map from top down to give to the player? Big eye, bird eye view now. To impress the player. It's not top down. Oh, not top down. In 3D modeling, in environment art game, environment art. No. When the player arrives at a key point, and then there it shows vista point. Maybe. Yeah, it seems to be that, but I heard another name for that. Is that their name, really? What was the name? That's not how we called it. Money shot. What is it? Money shot. What is the difference? The difference between a money shot and a vista point. With both money shot and vista point are terms used in visual media. The hardest thing meaning money shot, a provocative, sensational, or memorable sequence in a film, viewpoint in a game. What is money shot in video games? Is there money shot in video games? Of course there are. Video games, money shot. It's hard because Saint Rule put the environment artist. I think it's more environment artists that would use this. Oh, check it. The hidden part. No, there's nothing. It's just the landscape. Maybe it looks like a V, but that's all the statue. It's not so bad. Well, yeah, money shot. Yeah, I think it's more like environment artist or something. Game artist, let's say. Game art. Game scene. Let's see. Video game scene. Yeah, I don't remember when I heard it, where we use it. It was at my school, I think. I think it was one of the teachers that works in rendering. So I would add a vista shot. Open except for money shot and vista something. Vista point. And I will explain what are they. Money shots. I think it's more in design than in video games, so I would just use Vista Point. Money shot Vista Point. Let's take the description. So let's continue. I think I would take a little break again Sorry for that. And soon, how long was this? It's getting late. Ah, getting late. I don't know what I will do in France. I will think about it. So let's take a break. back. So one is the point that I liked is in Baldur's Gate 3. There are moments in often in the underworld when you see parts of the parts far away in the underworld that you can't reach, and you are like, what is that? I want to see what to have a closer look. I don't think we can see much. It can mean many things. Dark. Sometimes you don't know how to reach it. You see something far away, like under really low underground, and you can jump. You can put some magic on you so you don't die. But sometimes you can't even do anything. It's too far away. I was really surprised how large was the game. At first I thought it was small, very small. Okay, so because I'm used to the old Baldur's Gate where you had a map, and then you navigate through a visual map, and there are no real links between them. But in the 3 you have like a large map, all linked physically, and you have an Underdark which is underneath. You have inside castle, inside things, large edifice, building. So stop getting lost. Is it the one I have there? Yeah.
A game struggles to render all of that stuff on screen. Depending on the kind of game it is, really open layouts can also introduce scripting difficulties, because often you want to do things like spawn enemies or change things when the player can't see that area, and if there aren't any parts of the level that the player can't see, then you have nowhere to spawn things, you know? A final thing is that layouts that are too open and don't have any occluders and things blocking the player's line of sight, they can really undermine the player's ability to explore an environment, because if you can already
I do induce exploration. Oh shit. Hide. Hide sectors from the user player view to induce the need to explore. Also show like in Baldur's Gate. Show tips of icebergs far away. So hide sector or show tips of iceberg far away from the player's view. No. Sectors from the player's view or show tips of iceberg far away to induce the need to explore.
See everything, then there's no need to explore, right? And there's no corners to turn around to reveal new things or to see new scenes. And so it's just really useful to break things up, to give yourself opportunities and to encourage the player to explore. Number 5 is that spaces can often seem really empty. This can result in the player
Fill the space. Fill the space so it does not feel empty.
They're spending a lot of their time just running through your level, which isn't very interesting and isn't a very kind of...
So I will go over the French live stream and continue. I don't know if I will search the same thing in French because they don't have many resources, or I will just translate it with the subtitles. So that would be it. For this, I need to go over how to prepare for the one who stayed. How to prepare GitHub your task. So I will go and as I promised at the beginning. So roadmap, I'm here. I did some modeling, not a lot. So this was the... Oh, this one needs to be deleted. This one too. So are we in the second sprint now? What was my date? Don't remember. So we almost there. Oh, we have started since yesterday. So I will need to recreate the sprint that have not been done. So if you did the same thing as me to have a burned down chart, what I would do now is recreate the one that needs the second revival. So character concept, I did the mood board. I didn't do the concept art, and the mood board is not completed. But I can deal with the... I would say I'm not satisfied with the mood board. I didn't have the time I set for it. What I will do is I would say I'm maybe at half, one fourth of this. So I will untick them. At least the Robotniks needs more. The guards, yeah, all of them needs more work. I did at least 1/4 of the job. So I would remove 1/4. So 4 will be left here, and 12 will be given to the rest. 12, 12, 12. I need to remember 12. So I will copy that. Before that, I will take character R's name. What? Why the oh, it's the sprint, I think. So I would need to add a new task. Character art again. How can I avoid me? It's me. I have set priority size estimate, so it was 12. Start date, I will set it eventually, like I need to go back to it. I think I will set it at the end, or at least at some point soon. I will do like a fast blocking to have it for programming. Category art sprint 2, and then there is the label, which are in convert to issue, etc. Labels, and then this is how I differentiate the two. It's one as this, and then the description will bring it up. I think it might be too confusing to have to open it, so I will mark like 002. And then when should I do it is or do the 3D modeling again to the concept art. I need to do it before those two. I need to return to it, so it will be after concept art. There, and then everything will shift there as I go. And level. So I will keep this tick. No, not even. I will tick just to remember that's what I did. And then I will edit, copy all, and then go to this one and paste it in there. Edit, and now it's ready. So then we have this one, modeling. We did a very basic card, and that's all. The base mesh, and that will be the same thing for this one. So yeah, I need to go down anyway. I need to delete this. Not deleted. add. Zero 02 Massini and 2 feature VP milestone VP create. And let's bring it back up, and after the character modeling, I need to do them after this. Go back to them there, and let's keep it. And this one, what did I do? It's like so little. It's less than 1/4. Like I want to keep it short. I would put 2. Okay, 2, and the other one will be 14. That's it. Okay, this. Also, this one, I will remove this. And put this back. 14 estimate. Where are we now? Size. I want to keep it small, but I guess it won't be. But it's a good thing to trying to keep it as small as possible, I guess. I will remove this, and then I will make it longer. This is not really useful, but I will keep it for now. It might take way less time that. Okay, it's control system. Because it's the Robotniks are not they use the tree that the cards use, so I will put the cards first. It misses the something there. I will see when I will be at this moment, just like in the production. If there is an error, we see it at the moment. So we'll leave it there. So I was in this, and what is missing is the labo. No, nothing is missing except one is the status, which is ready. So now we should have beginning of a burn down chart by sprint. Why is sprint 2 not showing? Estimates, sprints, and we are in sprint 2. What is wrong? Yeah, sprint 2. Art. Oh, I need to copy everything else to sprint 2. That's a huge issue, but I will do it as I go because it's too long for the rest to do it once. But I need to copy everything and sprint 2. So in order to have the burn down chart showing the real progression, so as soon as I go, I need to copy. This is really a bad way to do it, but it's one of the only way to have a burn down chart. There are other ways, but they are not similar or too long, like the burn down chart that is dated on GitHub. But I don't know if it's very useful. This one is okay. You can see what has been done. I guess I will stop doing the burn down chart because this method is so not working. This one is better. Seeing what's in the status. It's the same thing as a burn down chart, except you don't have it over time. The thing with burn down chart is when you are time limited, and you need to know when the project is slowing down. And I don't need to know that right now, but I wanted to try to give you a way to do it. It's a long way. It's similar, not so much similar, but a bit similar to Handsoft. Handsoft, you need to lower your, and Jira too. You will need to do that. You need to go and lower your every day. You will go on your issue and lower your estimate, and it will register on a graph burn down chart every day. Getting lower and lower. I can achieve it, but I need to copy, duplicate, and there is no duplicate easy way to duplicate in their system. There is no easy way. There is no like duplicate thing. So that will be it. They missed on something, but I guess they want to. I guess they want. Let's see if it's not possible to have. Don't think it's possible. I want the exact access space on date. You don't take, you take date. That's why it doesn't work. Yeah, that would be it for tonight. Thank you for watching. I might cancel my Patreon. No one showed up, and I will find another way. But if you want, it's the last time, I would remove it. So jump on the occasion. So thank you for watching. See you the next time. Tomorrow,